And here we are again.
What up?
Welcome to the Big Red Van podcast. Here we are, BRV Shorts on the YouTube channel, Big Red Van on all the other podcastables. But here we are, Wade and Hayden with you.
Yo.
Bringing you another story from the webs. But it's been a while. How you been?
Good.
Yeah?
So good.
Things good with you?
Yeah, man.
It's like situated here?
It rained a lot. When I mean a lot, I mean like a lot.
I can't believe I forgot about that already, but it's not in my prep notes.
I mean, like
the epic flood that we had.
Many feet of water.
It was pretty cool.
Legions of water.
I've talked about the ownership of my creek with our new house. Like,
yeah, that shit was deep, dude.
I
seen your video.
How deep is it? It was crazy. It rose probably about 8 feet.
Oh yeah. See, as a fellow creek owner, I guess you could say creek owner, as in a creek runs through my property.
You're a creeker?
I am a creeker.
Yeah.
Our creek was raging. We had a raging creek.
It's pretty awesome.
Many feet deep.
Seeing roads getting completely washed out
It was nuts.
What looked like a river running over the road. Just, you don't want to even walk in there.
Oh yeah, like there were certain
you could lose your baby in that thing.
There were certain parts of town, like anywhere you went basically around here, that were like submerged. I mean, like, you say flooding, but I mean like submerged, like it underwater. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and they didn't even cancel school.
They did a lot though.
Not in Loudoun County.
No, but Knox County did.
Knox County did. Loudoun County, they did not. There were some unhappy parents about having to try to trudge through the. Okay, I'll get my kayak out and bring my kid to school today.
Oh, speaking of that, I saw a hilarious video of what is it, like Jeff Gordon Raceway, I think is what it is. It's whatever. It was a NASCAR speedway somewhere, but those places have campgrounds. And
of course they do.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
The parking lot, and then there's also a huge campground attached to it as well.
Yep.
But the campground flooded, and some dude was out there in his jet ski, just literally just wearing it out. Like,
hang on, y'all. I got something in the trailer.
Like doing flips and stuff out here, just jet skiing in the flood zones.
Unreal. Yeah. Well, at those events that they allow you to bring in a minimum, or I say minimum, a maximum of 30 beers per person.
Oh yeah,
to those events.
Now I went to I've been to drag races before. The Top Fuel Nitro kind, not the kind where people dress like ladies.
Those are badass.
But
you said drag race, not drag show.
Oh. It is a show.
Yeah.
Fair. But no. Yeah, I mean, and you can bring a certain size cooler in, and you can, as much alcohol as you can fit inside that cooler is what's allowed to come in. And
allowed. You say allowed, you mean encouraged.
I mean, you'd best believe it was, that cooler is full
totally
when you go
different.
in.
It's an expectation that you fill that damn thing up.
Yes.
You don't come in with it empty.
No,
you only got 8 beers for you?
If you want to buy a beer there, they're only like, $9 a Bud Light. So, yeah, you fill that cooler up.
Of course. And you're putting some whiskey bottles in your in your pockets of your coat. So anyway, I talked about my pre-show notes. Normally we don't do notes. Like, normally we're just
like to wing it.
What are notes? But it's been a while since we talked so much that I even forgot about the flood. But let's wrap that up. I am really glad that we hadn't built the bridge over the creek yet, because
it would have been gone.
No, dude, it'd have been gone. There was metal fencing that was washed away.
Wow.
It'd have been gone.
It would have depended on how deep we would have set those posts.
Now, see, I trust your engineering skills and all that, but maybe the concrete would have been left from our posts, but that's about it. But there's a lot of things that have happened in the news, so I'm going to run down a couple of things that we're not going to cover. So and
just in case you needed to know.
Just in case you haven't heard about some things that have happened, both local news and national news. One that I think hits both, which is kind of disgusting and awesome at the same time. And then we'll get into our actual story. But Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots.
Oh, asking
there
for a jerky.
At
a rub and jerk, as they call them.
At a happy ending. Do they call it a rub and jerk?
They call it a rub and jerk.
Yeah, nice.
That's like the slang word for like a sex parlor that also does massages, a rub and jerk.
It's that straightforward?
I've heard people use that phrase, and I thought it was hilarious, and I said, I'm using that phrase from now on.
Oh my gosh. You'd think it'd be called like a no penny.
All right.
Can I get a no penny? Robert Kraft caught on video walking into this Oasis Day Spa or something.
It was like a sting operation, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's 25, 30 people that have been indicted on it. I saw the list of names, and I'm going to Google them all later to see what they do and kind of where they're from. One guy in his 30s from Greenwich, Connecticut, and Greenwich, Connecticut's like literally the richest part of our country. But anyway,
a lot of 1%ers there.
Ton. That's all it's full. It's full of 1%ers. So when you see a 30-year-old from Greenwich, you're like, okay, trust fund baby.
Yeah.
Out there spending somebody's money. The teabagging delivery driver. You heard about this,
local.
Right? This happened in Murrayville. Like right up the road.
Yeah.
Where this guy repeatedly is ordering food. If you haven't heard about this, look it up. But this guy's repeatedly ordering food from one of those delivery services, lives like right on the edge of how far they deliver, and
at the edge,
tips them like $1 or something,
less than $1
all the time.
If you haven't heard about this story,
know more about this.
I know about this story. And first of all, let me make 2 points here. Point number one, I would never do this. So, and I've worked in the food industry a lot and never did anything like this. So, for the record, that. Number two, if you tip someone 90 cents on like a $30 or $40 order and they had to drive like 10 miles to bring you your food, you're a son of a bitch that gets testicles dipped in your salsa.
Yeah. So there it is. You know, it was a ballsy move. For sure. He literally put his balls in a guy's salsa
on video,
and then posted about it. About this is what you get, like a literal. You see what happens, Larry?
Typical.
Do you see
mistake.
What happens, Larry?
This is a very typical millennial mistake, and it's posting illegal things that you do. Like that's the kind of stuff you leave off Facebook.
Is this your homework, Larry? So there's a crab leg sword fight in Huntsville, Alabama, where these two patrons of your local buffet, they're waiting for the fresh crab legs to come out to the buffet.
As you do.
And, I mean, of course, there's a line that forms.
Mm-hmm.
Crab legs at a buffet? Shit. Give me some of that. And a fight breaks out. And as weapons, these people use the crab tongs and dinner plates as shields. So literally whipping these things out as swords. And they're fencing with each other. Old man ends up with a large cut like on his forehead. Bitch was trying to kill him. Like
over the crab legs.
Crab legs. This one was great. There's a man that got selected for jury duty and then shouted out loud, "He's guilty," in a hope to get dismissed from jury duty.
That's how you get dismissed.
That's how you get put in jail for contempt of court.
Oh, he did it in court?
In court.
Oh, see, that's the thing you do when you're getting interviewed for jury duty.
You show up wearing a clown suit.
Yeah, and say, "Oh, he's guilty."
Yeah,
you can't persuade me any way other than he's guilty.
You bring like your pet ferret, and you let it hang in your pocket. You start talking to somebody on your shoulder.
Don't bathe for like 3 weeks up until the day you're supposed to go in.
So that was good. I thought that was great. Judge fined him put him on a $10,000 like cash only bond and made him spend a night in jail and dropped all charges.
Oh my God!
It was just like, you're going to jail.
Learn your lesson.
Yeah,
you don't stand up and yell in my courtroom.
The power of judges. That's so awesome. Annoyed me. You go to jail.
It is kind of crazy.
This was probably it's probably going to have a dark turn to how this story ended. But there was a Lamborghini that was found abandoned in a London ditch, and this happened just the other day. Authorities see this beautiful, like brand new Lamborghini just in this ditch, just no one in it, nothing in it, and it just sitting there.
Okay.
So fresh off of a James Bond movie, where someone steals a sports car, uses it for some purpose, gets into a wreck, and just leaves it and gets helicoptered out of there.
Is that what actually happened?
Who the hell knows? They don't know yet.
Oh.
But
who ditches a Lamborghini other than, like, do they know who owns it?
No. If they know, they're not telling anybody. You know that someone that owns a car like that's probably pretty wealthy. Probably keep their name out of the news.
They live in Connecticut.
Yeah, more than likely. So, have you heard about all these parrots that have gotten addicted to opium?
No.
No? Well, by raiding these fields, these poppy fields,
The parrots are
eating
the
now
poppies?
like raiding it and like getting combative with the farmers.
Oh my god.
As you do, when heroin enters your life, you tend to get a little combative. And then I've got a lot, dude. I've got a lot more here, but
what do you really want to talk about?
A lot of things. I want to talk about an Indiana man that had a bone collection of over 40,000 bones.
Incredible.
That was really cool. Have you heard about the California glory hole?
Oh.
And it's not that kind of glory hole. It's like it's like a drain in this lake at a dam. It's like a dam system.
Okay.
And it's built literally like a toilet. Like if you flush a toilet, what happens when you flush a toilet? So when water like rises up and gets to a certain level, they have this system that's just like a hole. They call it the glory hole. And it flushes and it brings all this water to like a lower reservoir. It's
Are we
pretty awesome.
talking like this is something you can ride down or you would die?
No, you'd probably die.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it looks like a black hole of water. It's pretty awesome. And I talked about did I talk about R. Kelly yet?
No.
R. Kelly's in
There's
jail.
too many topics.
R. Kelly and woman in Mexico was kidnapped and held for ransom, head cut off, found in a trash bag. I got stories for days.
Okay.
But what I really want to talk to you
All
about is our last episode was You Missed My Tits, right?
Yeah.
It was about a
numismatist.
numismatist.
Still can't say it.
Which is all about coins, right?
Right.
So I saw a story that piqued my interest that was about coins, and I thought, segue. So we'll do coins.
If you say it 3 times, it's a good one.
It's like Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
right? So, title, Florida man steals $33,000 in rare coins and takes them to CoinStar.
CoinStar. Oh my God.
Okay, so where would you, did I say Florida man?
There's nothing more blasphemous than that if you're a coin collector. Like, taking your, like, super rare pennies to the CoinStar machine.
Florida man steals $33,000.
I heard you say he stole it. I'm just saying, like, you can't take it to a pawn shop.
Well, listen. Okay, so this is how it goes down. His name is Shane Anthony Mealy, 40.
Good name.
Of Riviera Beach, Florida. Okay.
Good part of Florida.
He was booked on grand theft of over $100,000.
Good charge.
Along with an unrelated 10-count drug charge, which I'll get to.
Which meant his pockets were full.
Unrelated.
Oh, unrelated.
Unrelated. I'll get to this. So these were some rare presidential coins that were taken, valued at around $1,000 each, stolen from this retired man, and this was like his life savings.
Oh, these are serious.
Yeah, this guy named Michael Johnson is the old man that it was taken from. He started collecting the coins when he was around 16 years old. He guessed that he had well over around 100,000 coins. They were kept in a bunch of different boxes all over his house. He obviously kept the super expensive ones in a certain place, and the cheap ones or whatever. Maybe he even had one of those pennies that we were talking about on the last episode.
That's a serious thing.
But he met this Mealy guy through a mutual friend, just kind of one of those small town type things. Runs into a friend that has a friend who's down on his luck and needs some help. So this is a nice old man that gives him some help, gives him a job, lets him get some work, even gives him a place to stay.
And then he robbed his ass.
Typical story of one of these things where you give a dirtbag a chance, and well, what do you know? He's a dirtbag, So one night he broke in and he took everything. Mr. Johnson happened to have cameras all over his house, so you can see, or the authorities, I should say, saw Mealy going around with blue tape and putting blue tape on the lenses. Cameras.
It doesn't work if they already see your face.
So it's the level of intellect we're dealing with this individual. So
like you can just see their dumb ass face, like
smiling
in the middle of it,
like full Gomer Pyle, right? A tip that just totally dated me right there. I said Gomer Pyle. How many people are gonna get the Gomer Pyle thing?
I don't know. I just
2.
It's drilled into my head from Full Metal Jacket.
4. Oh yeah, Bullshit. You could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. All right. A tip led to the arrest of this guy, Mealy, and it was a totally unrelated tip, right? He was gallivanting around town, being a dumbass, and police are like, I think that's where he's at, so let's kick in his door. They find him with a backpack, and that backpack contained things that led to 7 counts of possession of painkillers,
7 counts.
1 count of possession of marijuana, and 2 counts of drug paraphernalia. So there's the 10 unrelated drug charges. And under pressure, he later confessed to stealing the coins. Took some of them to the pawn shop. He got about a total of $2,300 for the ones that he took to the pawn shop. Took the rest to CoinStar at the local Kroger, probably. Publix would be my guess. It's in Florida.
Yeah.
And the credit that he got was store credit. So he took these coins in for store credit.
Brutal. Minus
the 12% fee.
Even more brutal.
That he had to pay. And let's just say that he took the 33 presidentials in there at $1,000 each and got $29.30 for them.
So brutal.
So, Mr. Mealy...
Were they able to recover these coins from the CoinStar? Surely to God.
Investigation is ongoing in terms of getting them back, because the way that it works, I think, is once the shit's, like, turned over. Like, coins are different than jewelry, is what the guy at the pawn shop was talking about. How they have to have a bunch of documentation and whatever. They have to register the jewelry. A bunch of different things that they have to go through with jewelry that they don't have to do with coins. And it's the same thing in terms of when coins are stolen and then used to purchase something or used to turned in and things like that.
They're technically money.
It's technically money that's back in the system. So it's really difficult with stuff like that. So...
That'd be terrible.
It was this dude's life savings. Like, he was this retired guy that's like waiting, he's not working, and he's selling these slowly and working off of it to live. And then this guy trades them in for literally the amount of money that's like a couple 12 packs of beer.
Jeez. God.
Total douchebag.
That reminds me of a story of my own self. And one time while my car was parked outside of work, somebody busted the window in and stole my CD player out of my car.
I've heard this story, yeah.
And the CD player that was in my car was a CD player that I had bought at a pawn shop for $20, had a cracked faceplate. Like, this thing was like piece o' junk, but I was a broke-ass teenager that needed a CD player in my car, so I bought one at the pawn shop for $20, and somebody broke into my car and stole that $20 CD player out of my car to go pawn it.
Well, I remember that was when? How old were you? Oh, my God,
2009, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah, stealing CD players was, like, big then. That was before MP3s took over.
I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, someone stole my broke-ass $20 CD player from a pawn shop out of my car. The worst part about this story, Wade, is that the window that they broke, I used to drive a 98 Ford Escort, and they have the little triangular piece of glass behind the driver's side and the passenger side doors. Okay, that little piece of glass, apparently people stopped manufacturing that piece of glass a long ass time ago. So when I went to go look for that piece of glass, the only way you could get it was for like a glass company to either custom make it for you, or you find one at a junkyard.
Find you a Ford Escort and you take it.
So logic is I go look for that Escort first, right? And every junkyard, and as far as the eye could see, did not have a Ford Escort with that glass still in it, because they don't make it anymore, and it's like a hot commodity.
And they've all taken it.
And so to get that piece of actual glass replaced, it was like a $900 piece of glass.
You should just go buy you a new Ford Escort.
I bought a piece of plexiglass and got some rubber sealant and molded that thing into place, and it was just the same as what exactly I did. But could you, for that $20 CD player, somebody broke a piece of glass in my car that was going to cost me like $900 to replace.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need to get into that, because the things that people do to steal something for a crack rock or whatever it is,
it's unreal.
It's incredible. I mean, I I don't have a good example off the top of my head. The guy that broke into my wife's car to take her purse that had nothing in it. Like, he thought it had something in it, obviously.
Right.
But, it cost us a whole bunch of money to get that fixed, and he got absolutely nothing for it. Was found and got jailed.
Other than jail.
Yeah, I mean, he got spike stripped and jailed.
Dude, yeah.
That was the badass part about it, is he got hunted down and got spike stripped. I was like, don't you touch...
That's such sweet victory.
Don't you touch my family. Yeah. Do you want to hear about... I mean, I don't know how long we've been going, and I don't care.
We probably need to wrap it up.
No,
but,
our listeners
you give me one
like
more.
this. So, listen.
Give me one more.
It's been a while since we've gotten on and recorded a full HYH. So, I think that our loyal listening base that hasn't quite gotten onto the YouTube bandwagon yet, that still listens, I think that they've missed it a little bit. You know?
Right. Everybody, have you heard?
There it is. This woman in Mexico, I talked to you about it earlier. So
the head in the trash bag.
Yeah, this was
not good.
A couple that owns an aluminum business in Mexico. And you hear about this shit all the time about Americans and tourists going down there and getting kidnapped, and maybe not in Mexico, but in some countries in Central America.
Okay. And
held for ransom by these cartels and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's basically...
It has happened.
Basically what happens to this woman. Her and her husband are worth a whole lot of money, so she's held ransom. Her body is found separate from her head. Her head is found in a trash bag, and her body is found with a note that says something along the lines of, this happened to me because my husband decided to play tough guy and not pay my ransom.
Oh my God.
And the ransom was 4 million pesos, equivalent of $208,000. And obviously, investigation's still ongoing. But this is the kind of stuff. This literally just happened. This was 2-3 days ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I thought that was nuts.
That is effing nuts.
It's cartels, literal cartel stuff.
God. Chapo's in jail, though, for now.
Yeah. It don't matter. It don't matter. He's still calling the shots. If he's alive, he's calling shots.
God. He seems like one of those that I feel like somebody's going to just, like, vigilante or something, and take him out in jail.
I don't know. See, I think no one has yet, just because of the ripple effect they think that they'll get for the attempt on that.
A lot of people probably die soon after he dies.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
And if you don't succeed, a lot of people in your life die.
Right. For real, I feel like that's how it would go, and if something like that would happen to him. Jeez. Way to bring it down.
Hey, I thought a good kidnapping story, and it didn't happen here, So what are we worried about?
Oh my God!
You're not worried about it, are you?
No, I mean, I kind of am. That's terrible.
You should be more worried about the 700-pound alligator that was found in a ditch in Georgia.
Like dead?
No, alive.
Oh my
Giant
God.
Monster. Look, motherfucker looks like a school bus.
700 pounds. That's a big alligator.
Literally looks like your Ford Escort. Huge alligator. Just crawling around in some drainage ditch in the weeds.
What part of Georgia? Where did we say?
I don't know. I just read the headline.
I mean, southern Georgia. That's possible. Yeah. Northern Georgia, you might be getting a little too not in their climate.
Yeah, a little too scary to be finding a 700-pound. You see a 700-pound anything in the wild, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a meat eater.
There is nothing in the wild that, if it's 700 pounds, is a good thing to stumble across.
No, I would agree with that statement. So that's a very fair, probably the most true thing you've said all night. Now that I think about it. So, hey, plug them.
At the Big Red Van Pod on all those things, the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Instagrams.
The email. What's our email?
The Big Red Van Podcast
at gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us what you think. If you hate us, tell me. I don't care. But
subscribe to this.
Yeah.
That button that everyone tells you to push. And follow our podcast too. It's on your Google Play or your Google Podcast and your Apple Podcast, The Big Red Van.
Yeah, the podcast is Have You Heard?
You're also listening to this on the podcast potentially too, because it's in both places. But thank you for listening if you are. And
the podcast is literally the exact same thing that we're doing right now, so I don't know why it's separated at all, but it is separated, damn it, because we got a camera in
We
here
like to video.
and lights and a producer somewhere.
It's yeah,
Yeah,
it's a robot.
we're paying somebody something.
Right on.
Yeah, hey, thanks for joining us, and we are going to catch you on the next one.
Plays out.